How's it going, guys? Welcome back to Comic Book History today, and today we're going to be going over DC K.O. issue 3, and this one is absolutely insane. Now, I want to apologize in advance because I am getting over a cold, so if I'm a little more nasally or raspier than usual, I do apologize. But anyways, getting right into this, it starts with Superman's vision, and we're told that he hears children screaming with joy, and it's a whole peaceful utopia made up of Superman's image. And the heart gives us context saying he wants to look away, but he can't. The beauty is too much, which is when I rip it away. And then when he comes back, we get a glimpse of kind of what each of the other heroes wanting. Wonder Woman wanting a universe aglow of truth, Zatanna a dark wonder, Cyborg a quote-unquote techno-utopia, Guy Gardner wants a grand sculpture of will, and we get right into the next round. Now, for this, they're doing 2v2s, where each contestant gets to select one of the teammates from throughout the event so far, but the Joker has generated more Omega energy than everyone else, so he gets to pick his own teammate from anywhere in the multiverse, and what he does with that is extremely creative. Now, with this lineup, we have a pretty stacked roster. It's Guy Gardner and Hal Jordan versus Superman and Shazam, Lex Luthor and Supergirl versus Aquaman and Hawkman, Wonder Woman and Big Barda versus Cyborg and Connor Hawke, and then finally, Zatanna and John Constantine versus Joker and a mystery contestant still. So immediately we start with the Lanterns versus Superman and Shazam, and Guy starts it off by saying, "No hard feelings when we kick your asses," to which Superman responds, "But that's not gonna happen, right, Billy?" And Billy comes in and says, "Oh hell no," which Superman says language, and it's kind of funny. Then we jump over to Aquaman, and for his teammate, he selected Hawkman, and he says, "You're a true warrior, Hall. I'm honored to fight alongside you. Sea and air, brother." And Hawkman says, "Air and sea, but yeah." Lex and Supergirl prep to fight, and Lex says, "Alright, Kryptonian, let's finish them." And Supergirl just immediately knocks him away and is like, "Why would you think I would team up with you?" Looking at Aquaman and Hawkman saying, "Arthur, Carter, you guys want to team up?" To which they're kind of like, "Now you're talking." Wonder Woman and Big Barda sort of catch up. Cyborg infuses Connor with his nanotech to fight and keep up. John and Zatanna exchange their hellos, and finally we get the final member to the Joker's team. He says, "I just love to laugh, so I figured why not pick someone who loves to laugh too." And the Batman who laughs steps forward, and this was a crazy selection on the Joker's end, but give it 1 second, because John says, "Hang on, this doesn't smell like dark multiverse. Trust me, I know a con when I see one." And Joker, being bound in magical chains, and the Batman who laughs also being bound up in magical chains, says, "Ha! The jig is up, old friend." The Batman who laughs responds, "The looks on their faces." And Joker says, "I know how much you love a good trick, so let's play an old favorite, shall we? Go on now, show them who you really are." And this is where we get the real reveal, which is where he says, all right, if you insist." Joker says, "So kids, what's better than a king? And Emperor Joker that is," and he hits them with a giant ha 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 and is using all these powers. Now, for those of you guys who don't know, what the Joker has done here is he's actually tricked everybody, because the person that he brought in disguised themselves as the Batman who laughs, but only as a front. The truth is that the person that came with him was Mr. Mxyzptlk, which is a Superman villain, and he's not really a villain even, he's a fifth dimensional imp that just knows the limits of reality, so he doesn't really have any reason to care about anything, and most of the time he just messes with Superman. Now, Emperor Joker is a version of the Joker that was introduced back in 2000 during Superman Emperor Joker, and Mr. Mxyzptlk would attempt to see what a normal person of the normal realm would look like if they had 0.01% of his power. But the Joker would sort of trick him into giving him his real name, which would allow Joker to have 99.99% access of the power, leading to the Emperor Joker basically wreaking havoc on reality, killing Batman multiple times, making the Justice League into caricatures of themselves, and basically just the whole reality into a clownish, hellish mess, because Mr. Mxyzptlk can control and distort and warp reality, and that was just with 99.99% of his power. It was said that he was actually limited because he didn't still have the 0.01, so the Joker still had a little bit of humanity. But anyway, I could cover that storyline if you guys would really want to. It's pretty fun and quite over-the-top crazy, so I'd be really down. But jumping back over to Big Barda and Wonder Woman, Wonder Woman throws Barda at Cyborg and Connor literally says, "Did Wonder Woman just throw a new god at us?" Connor is even sort of like, "Why did you even bring me here? Because I'm just a normal guy and we're fighting gods." And Cyborg says, "Like I said, you're one of the deadliest fighters in the world, but I picked you because of how you're deadly. The style of fighting you studied at Ashram's, it's all about human impulse and unpredictability, right? Surprise, perfect for going up against traditional warriors, and once I scan your skills and absorb them, I can fight just like you." So this brings me to talk about Cyborg. This whole contest, Cyborg has been showing that he is very powerful when it comes to just adapting and making himself better. That is his go-to thing, what he's good at. But anyways, we're going to jump over to John and Zatanna because they're discussing the crazy constructs and reality distortion that the Joker is doing. And they piece together that whatever it is he's using is some kind of visual neurotoxin. But by the time Zatanna looks at John, he's immediately corrupted. Jumping over back to Wonder Woman and Barda, she tells Barda to punch her as hard as she can. But Barda asks, "I thought we were on the same team." Wonder Woman says to just do it, and when she does, Wonder Woman blocks the hit, and the heart gives us context on what just happened. Wonder Woman brought into the tournament the gauntlets that were forged from the Aegis. They don't just deflect blows, they amplify them. The blast could shake the heavens, or in this case, hell. But when Barda asks if this is why Wonder Woman chose her, she says, "No. You were trained in the fire pits of Apocalypse. You know the way of war there. I need you to tell me everything you know about the heart of Apocalypse now." Now, meanwhile, the Joker has just finished dealing with Zatanna, and surprisingly, he relinquishes the power of Mxyzptlk by saying his name backwards and sending him back to his reality. But from here, we catch up with the Lanterns, Superman, and Shazam, and Hal says after Superman apologizes, "Don't you dare do that. It's funny though, I think a lot of us figured you'd be the one to beat Clark, which is why, for my one item, I brought this." And he throws out a Black Mercy. Now, Black Mercy is a parasitic plant that feeds off the host while they have visions of their perfect life, leaving Superman, quote-unquote, off the game board. Now, over in Lex and Supergirl's arena, she is absolutely pummeling Lex, asking why in his wildest dreams he thought she'd fight with him. Now, Lex is no fool, and he hits her with a blast of red kryptonite, but it's not just any red kryptonite, but we'll come back to that, because she says, "Cousin, forgive me for what I'm about to do." And we see a conversation now between Clark and Lois, and I love the pacing of this comic, how it jumps back and forth between each ongoing fight. And in the memory, Lois and Clark are talking about winning games, and Lois says, "With you, you take more joy in seeing other people win. So it doesn't work, and, admittedly, makes for a kind of awkward game night. But hey, at least we have good wine. Come on, Smallville, get out there and be Superman." And then we transition to Superman's dream, and the heart says the mercy takes it further, for he realizes that in this place, he didn't just fix the present. No, here, he, Superman, has fixed everything, the future and even the past. But how? And his parents walk up, and his kids are there, and it's a perfect reality, and it says, "Clark has never felt such peace, never felt so whole." But as he snaps back to reality, Lois's words come back to him. Get out there and be Superman. The memory fills him with rage. Rage at Hal, at the cursed plant, at the dream, at me, at the game itself, but also at the truth. Because that dream could be his reality. It could be our reality. Why shouldn't he win it all, fix everything? Why shouldn't we want him to? Now, following up on the Supergirl fight with Aquaman and Hawkman, Supergirl has turned into a giant monster since we last seen her, and Lex explains that not only is it red kryptonite he used, but it's spliced with silver kryptonite to boost the delusions and a speck of black kryptonite to cause violent disassociation, and he coins it Designer K. Over in Superman's arena, the Lanterns struggle to get up, and the heart says behind him, Hal and Guy are getting to their feet. They are about to use their rings to craft green kryptonite. Synthetic, an old trick, but effective. Enough. Clark can sense it. Now, Superman kind of explains to Billy Batson the secondary reason why he brought him, and it's because of what he can do with his powers for others. And the heart says, the boy realizes what Clark means, smiles, and says the word, Shazam. And we see Superman with all of Shazam's powers, but not just with Shazam's powers, it's Shazam's powers stacked on top of Superman's. So, he's doubled the strength plus more powers, and It literally says he takes them out in seconds, but as he does, he wonders, was it this place? Am I getting to him, the dark, twisted heart of Apocalypse, the way I seem to get to Captain Atom? In this moment, Clark didn't know, but it feels damn good to win. Now, I'm not gonna lie, this has to be my favorite Superman iteration. Like, this has to be the best looking I think Superman has ever been, and that's just up to my opinion. Like, there's no basis for that other than I just really, really like the design here. But when Superman looks across to Lex, he's staring back at him, and he's staring at him with something that the heart says something Clark has never seen in those eyes before. Admiration. Now, ending this round, we have Wonder Woman, Joker, Lex, and Superman. And kicking off round 4, they're taken to a new set, where the heart says, on a world that belongs to the King Omega, Darkseid. And Joker, thinking it's Apocalypse itself, says it's his kind of place, but Lex calls him an idiot and says it's Earth instead. And Wonder Woman says, but how? We were still fighting. And the heart responds, seems you ran out of time, Diana, so yes, this is your Earth, but you are no longer its champions. And we see the absolute versions of Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman. And this is who they have to fight next, which I am so excited. I cannot wait for that issue. It cannot come fast enough. It cannot come fast enough. I cannot reiterate that enough. I'm so excited to read that. I can't wait to see what happens. I want to know who is the better fighter between Absolute Superman and main continuity Superman. You guys let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. But if you did enjoy this one and you want me to cover the next issue of DC K.O. and the last one, be sure to leave that down in the comments section as well. And if you did enjoy this one, be sure to stay subscribed for more comic book based content. But anyways, have a good one. See ya!